One of my obsessions for sure is Trader Joe's. The chokehold the peanut butter pretzels has on me. Woo! Raise a pinky up and pair it with some wine. We have a party to plan. New Day Northwest starts right now.
It's a new day.
Now, from the Virginia Mason Franciscan Health Studio at King 5 in downtown Seattle, this is New Day Northwest.
Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm Kelly Hansen. It's not just our staff. We know there are a lot of Trader Joe's fans out there. And today we're talking affordable snack and wine pairings you can get all from inside Trader Joe's. Haley Bowman from the wine education website Cork and Fizz did all the research for us and has 5 different pairings to share. Thank you for being here as always.
Oh, this was so fun to doing the research for this was very fun.
I bet the research alone was a freaking blast.
Yes. So I love the idea of a wine and food pairing. Doesn't have to be something at a fancy dinner. So yeah, let's do Trader Joe's. So
yes. Okay, what are we starting?
Start off with one. This is a staple that my husband has always loved, the spinach and artichoke dip. So I had to go that way. So if you want to try a bite of the
I absolutely am going
dip,
to.
and then while you try that, I'll talk about the wine.
Please.
So this is paired with a Soave. This is an Italian white wine. It's very fresh, very light. It's lemony, and it kind of works as a palate cleanser to the creamy spinach and artichoke dip. And the bottle's only $6 at Trader Joe's.
$6?
I know, right?
This tastes so expensive.
Is it good? What do you think of the pairing?
This is so good.
Yes.
You're right, with the creamy dip vibe into this crisp, fresh wine.
Yes.
Wait, I really like this wine.
I know, so fun, right?
Okay, I don't want to hoard it too much, but
I promise the other ones are good too.
Okay, then I will put it down. Fine. This next one, I haven't tried this snack, but I know it's a crowd favorite.
Yeah, this came on recommendation. Someone here likes plantain crisp, so you have to find out who. But yes, so they reminded me when I had a bite of one of just a light potato chip. And so I was thinking light potato chip might want something a little off dry, which in the wine world means a hint of sweetness, not to scare people off. It's not super sweet, but just a hint of sweet. So I chose this. It's called Mbali. I have a joke with friends. We say Mbali because it's just fun to say. But it's a South African Chenin Blanc Viognier, just a hint of sweetness, and it works like salted caramel. You have a little salt from the chip, a little hint of sweetness in the wine, and they just kind of elevate each other.
Wow, it really does. This pairing, again, this chip is it's giving chip and salty, but not. It feels healthy, dare I say?
We're being healthy with our food and wine today.
I mean, I don't want to. You got to partake too in this
absolutely,
too.
Absolutely.
Cheers. What are you? Because I feel like you're able to taste a little more of all the notes. I don't know if this is giving me a Sauv Blanc. It's not overly sweet at all.
No, it's just that hint of it, and I think it gives it a little body. On the aroma, I'd say there's also tropical notes, which felt good pairing with the plantain chip as well, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of in that same world.
Okay. And did you mention again the price point on this one? What are we looking at?
This one is $5.
Yeah. Are they all going to go down in price?
No. These are probably the low cost, but they're also, none of them are above 15, so.
This is shocking. I am literally shook right now. Who knew that I would like plantain crisps
I know,
too?
right?
Okay. I'm into it. Next, you have a red wine, which is usually my favorite. I'm a red wine girly, so I'm excited about this one. What are we pairing
Yes, okay,
next?
so when I was testing all these, this was definitely my favorite pairing.
Oh,
so, yes,
you can even say, okay,
yes,
favorite
and
pairing.
So these are the bird's nest, so they're fried onion and carrot, and I think kale as well. So we're kind of going healthy again, but they are fried.
Okay. Well,
I
never met anything fried I didn't like, so.
Reminded me of a blooming onion, and so that oily crispiness, I wanted a brighter wine to pair with it, but maybe something with a little more richness, which is why I went red. So this wine is a Valpolicella Rapasso, which sounds really fancy.
It does.
Lovely Italian red wine, really fruity, a little bit of earthiness, but just easy drinking, and again, refreshing with the bird's nest, that fried oiliness.
It really takes the bite, because you're right. This is a straight blooming onion. It takes me back to Outback right away. Fruity wine, and I'm usually not always a fruit forward is not always what I go for, but it's not overly fruity and punching you in the face.
It's also lighter,
with it.
and it has that like earthy undertone, which I think goes well with the vegetable flavor in the bird's nest.
100% earthy.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
And so
how expensive is this guy?
This one is $13.
Hey.
So I know we're kind of going up in the Trader Joe's cost.
It's a hey. We go from $4.99 or whatever to, but that is still very affordable.
Oh, yes, and it's honestly the lowest cost of this type of wine that I've ever seen that also tastes delicious.
Interesting. I know that is important. We're actually showing you guys things that taste like, and I'm now needing to stock my fridge.
Oh,
with
I know. Yeah,
all of these
that was a new one to me too. That was so good. Okay, moving on to what is something that's very special to me. I'm originally from Wisconsin.
Okay.
So cheese curds are kind of like in my blood.
It's a staple. It has to be.
So we have fried cheese curds, and again, it's that fried, a little oily, very fatty with the cheese. So we're gonna pair it with a rosé. And honestly, it's probably cheating because a good rosé pairs with just about anything in my mind.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't those so good?
This cheese curd.
It's like dangerous because I would just eat all of them.
Oh, wow. Do you dip, being from Wisconsin, do you eat them plain?
So I used to. The way to do it would be to dip it into ranch dressing. It's a very Wisconsin thing. I'm somewhat lactose intolerant now, so I have to limit. So if I'm gonna have a cheese curd, I gotta go like ketchup or something.
Fair. Ranch would be good with this. Okay, so cheese curd. Have that and and then now
and
the
this
wine.
is the famous. Have you ever heard of the chicken wine?
No.
It's got a chicken on the label. I promise there's no chicken in the wine. I'm like, you're like, what are you giving me?
What's happening this morning?
No, so it's got the chicken on the label. It's from La Vie.
Say that again.
La Vie, very lovely French Rhone Valley rosé, a blend, fresh, light. Like I said, goes well with the cheese curd.
Okay, let's try it and see. Oh. It's summer. It's spring. I'm on my porch.
Yes.
I'm diving into a rosé. That's really.
Isn't that so good?
I don't know how to, like, it's not too like dry or like how would you describe that? I love that flavor.
It's just that really bright like red fruit without being sickly sweet, right? It has that like acidity, but then it has something on the backbone, whether it's like a vanilla or like just something there that like makes you feel like it's not just fruit happening.
Yeah, it kind of hangs there and really bites through. Wow. I don't know. I mean, like you, I loved the vegetable bird's nest pairing because I'm a red wine girly, but this might top it. And I can't decide why. Like, what is happening here? But hey.
Makes you happy. That's what a good pairing does.
And the price on that, too, we're looking at is
$8, I think?
$8, yeah. $7.99. Again, how are these all this affordable, like so budget friendly, which is amazing when you're hosting because you get stressed out sometimes when you're having people over.
Exactly. Well, and half the time people are just drinking to enjoy it, right? They're not going to care a whole lot about the wine, but they want it to taste good. So this way you're kind of keeping it simple. You don't have to spend a lot, but it's going to be good.
And they would never know too, like looking at these bottles,
absolutely
like
not.
where it's from. Okay, we got to end on a high note. You guys, these pretzels, like, so you have almond butter.
I know. I looked everywhere for the peanut butter, but you were saying maybe you bought them all out at the last Trader Joe's.
Like I said, I bought them all.
And so I tried these, and I really wasn't sure how I was going to find a wine to pair with it because the almond butter is pretty sweet, and I'm sure that's the same for peanut butter as well. I have these all the time.
Yeah.
But it's also salty, and I ended up finding this orange wine, which is essentially a white wine that's made like a red wine.
I've never heard of that.
I know. They put it in contact with the skins of the grapes, and so it gives it a little more oomph, a little more of that like dry sensation in your mouth, and a nutty flavor. So, right?
So
you see where I'm going.
Nutty? Okay.
And then I think that ended up working really well with the almond butter pretzels.
Okay, well, cheers. Orange wine, first timer, but it matches my outfit.
What do you think? It's different, right?
I think I was thinking like orange was going to hit me in the face and it was going to be so, but not at all. Yeah.
No, it's very much like a white wine, but like that a little richness. There's also a little bitter to it, I think.
Yes.
And I think the salty sweet of the pretzel kind of balances that bitterness out, so it's not too bitter.
It doesn't like really taste like wine. For me, it's like almost like I'm drinking an orange like LaCroix.
Yes,
like,
or
it's
like
just
do you think of
light.
cider? A lot of people
Yes.
think of cider when they're having an orange wine. It has that similar taste.
Okay, gosh, you've given me so much to think about and so much to buy, and probably everyone else.
Yes, well, yeah. So if anybody wants to find these, I do have a freebie on my website, corkandfizz.com. I include all 5 of these plus 3 more pairings from Trader Joe's.
Ooh,
So.
okay, well, we have to check that out. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here.
of
We love that you're
course.
here. And next up, the Seattle Art Museum is making history. Later in the show, we take you to their newest exhibit, which is also their biggest ever, featuring artist Weiwei, and it's now open for you to view. And then it's time for Game On. We're playing How Much Does That Cost with an Irish made or themed product, a little friendly competition, and loser dances an Irish jig. But up next, I'm talking with an author who went on an incredible journey across the Western U.S. in his Airstream. Stay with us.
The New Day Northwest Kitchen is brought to you by Safeway.
Welcome back. One of the best ways to get to know America is to drive through it, and my next guest knows a lot about that. Neil Matheson is a former naval officer and nuclear engineer, and he's also the author of this book, Airstream Country, which tells the story of his geologic journey across the western U.S. in an Airstream. And he joins me now. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so what kind of book is Airstream Country?
Well, it's a travel book. It's a book about the environment. It's a book about the West, the American West.
Amazing. And what does a geologic journey mean to you?
Well, I've always been fascinated with what I call high-end geology. And high-end geology is, why is a mountain range in this place? How does ice shape the Washington, Oregon, and Montana landscape? John McPhee is my inspiration for high-end geology because he wrote this glorious book called Annals of a Previous World, which is about the plate tectonic revolution. And that is where the pieces started coming together for high-end geology.
Gosh, so interesting. And so what called to you to make this journey, and why an Airstream?
Well, Susan and I are natives of Washington State, and I grew up traveling throughout the West. I like to joke that my parents didn't give me any stocks, bonds, real estate, but they did give us the American West. And so when Susan and I had our own son, we would camp throughout the West. When he finally finished his education, we decided it's time for us to revisit some of these places, but no more tents.
Amen.
And so an Airstream, I always wanted an Airstream, and I think certain things become iconic. I have always suspected if you hand a child a piece of paper and say, draw a picture of a camping trailer, it's going to look like an Airstream.
Definitely. And so you bought it back in what year?
2013.
It was before it became so popular. Now it's just blown up.
It's everywhere now.
Yeah. Okay, and what is different then about an Airstream and, instead of like maybe an RV?
Well, of course, there's nothing wrong with RVs, and you can make the same kind of journeys in any kind of RV, and I encourage people to do it. But the Airstream is, what I like about it, and especially our small one, is it's really simple. And I call it Zen trailering. Also when you're inside it, you feel like you're kind of in a Zen cone or something.
Right.
Because there's no rectangular surfaces, and the light is just beautiful in there. But Susan and I wanted simple.
Yeah.
And you can travel. I don't blame people who, cart along a lot of stuff, but we wanted simple.
Okay, you're a simple man. I like it. Which places best illustrate geologic travel to you?
Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. The Colorado Plateau is probably the classic example, because the Colorado Plateau, very strange thing, for all the beauty there and all the hoodoos and canyons and everything, The reason it's that way is because it had a very peaceful, by geological standards, history. And so the layers that are in the plateau tell a story that goes back, millions of years. And so I think Colorado Plateau is a good place to start.
Boom. Okay, and I want to get to this one. Where do you plan to take your Airstream next?
Next, I think, is June, and it's going to be a trip across the top of Washington, Idaho, Montana, into the Dakotas. There's a couple of national parks there. There's one I've never been to, which is in North Dakota. It's the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Yes. And Susan's not been there either, and so we want to pick that one up. And we'll swing down through Wyoming, come back through Devil's Tower, and then, wander around.
Oh my gosh.
Wandering around is part of the deal.
It is. Well, you've inspired me. Who knows? You might see me in an Airstream. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And after the break, we're talking with one of the stars from the new NBC hit show, Suits LA. Suits LA is a legal drama set in the high-stakes world of entertainment law. The series revolves around Ted Black, a former New York federal prosecutor who was relocated to California. Ted has reinvented himself as a criminal and entertainment attorney. His protege in the office is named Rick Dodson, played by One Tree Hill alum Bryan Greenberg, who I recently had the chance to chat with. Take a look. So your character, Rick, has a really interesting dynamic with his boss. Mm-hmm. Where does their tension come from?
Ted is my boss, played by Stephen Amell. And, Rick, it's tough because he's a very strong-minded, highly ambitious, competitive person. And all the characters are very strong-willed. And, the thing about Rick is that he's got a very strong moral compass and a code of ethics that he adheres to that Ted does not. And a lot of the characters in the show do not have the same. It's a very morally gray area, Hollywood. So that's great as an actor. You always want challenges and obstacles, and I get that every week with playing Rick Dodson.
Okay, so I imagine you have fun playing, this kind of type of role.
Oh, I have so much fun. And, the thing about Rick that's great is, they're really letting me do a lot of comedy, and I love that. And I think the show needs some levity, and I think that's one of the cool things about Suits, and that people loved it in the first one, was that it's dramatic, it's comedic, it's a really tough balance to strike, and I feel like they did it so well. And it's the same writers that we have, it's the same creator as the original. So I think there's a lot of DNA from the original that people will love in this show as well. But at the same time, it's a totally new set of characters, new cast, new stakes, new settings. So it's a unique, different show, but it's got kind of the same vibe as the first one. I hear you grew up in the Midwest. So did you know you always wanted to be an actor? Yeah, I kind of did. Ever since I was 10 years old, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and then I moved to St. Louis when I was 12. But I remember when I was 10, I visited Universal Studios in Hollywood, and I saw the Back to the Future ride, and it was just it was such a vivid memory of mine, and a great memory of mine. And now I get to shoot on Universal Studios every day. It's like a dream come true, and as an actor, it's very rare that you get to be a part of something that's so anticipated and such a beloved franchise. So I'm really just kind of pinching myself here. Absolutely. It's living the dream. And so how did you get your big break then? Yeah, I don't know if you ever get it. You've gotten it for sure. I've gotten, but it's just what is that? What constitutes the break? Is it the first speaking role I got, or is it the first leading man role I got? I don't know. I mean, One Tree Hill got me on the map. The Perfect Score was a film I did with Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. I wouldn't have gotten One Tree Hill without that. You touched on this. You landed the role on One Tree Hill for 3 seasons. I feel like you've played this good guy role then a couple of times. What is it about that specific role that you feel like you get cast in? Do you think it matches
your personality?
No, I just think it's a testament to me as a fantastic actor, because I'm really not that nice of a person in real life, and I do not know why I keep getting these roles.
Not true. I can already tell that's not true.
Joke's on you. I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess I attribute it to my parents. You know, I have really awesome folks who I feel like raised me right, and with a good sense of right and wrong, and that's just something that was taught to me growing up.
Well, shout out to your parents. That's
shout out,
sweet.
Mom and Dad. Yeah.
This show has just a huge cast. So what have you been loving about working with these co-stars?
Oh man, well, we're all just so excited to be there. It's just so, I think everybody knows that we booked a really good job here, and I think everybody's excited to come to work. And it's like I said, it's rare that you're a part of something that is so, it's just like a worldwide hit, and to be able to kind of have an audience already on board to watch is very rare, and I think nobody's taking that for granted. And we're just having a good time, and also not taking it too serious. The show is light in moments, and we need to keep that fun energy on set. And I think when you enjoy what you do, it translates on the screen, and I think an audience will respond to that.
Yeah, we need something like that right now too.
Yeah.
And in doing this role, is there anything that surprised you in the world of entertainment law in general?
What's so fun about this world of entertainment is that it attracts so many crazy, eccentric characters, and there's no real barrier of entry into Hollywood. It's just like people come in through all different walks of life and backgrounds, and so the one consistency is there's a lot of charisma, and so I just love playing in this world because it's definitely not boring.
And watch Suits LA Sundays at 9 p.m. right here on King 5. It also streams on Peacock. And coming up after the break, a history lesson and hopefully a mystery solved. Back with more New Day after this.
This is New Day Northwest.
The Seattle Art Museum is now showing their biggest show in decades called I Rebel by artist, architect, and activist named Weiwei. Weiwei is known for his bold and often politically charged works. In 2011, he was detained by Chinese authorities, which brought global attention to his activism for freedom of expression and social justice. New Day editor Gloria Angelin has the preview of this exhibit at SAM.
For the first time in 90 years, the Seattle Art Museum is presenting the work of one artist, Weiwei, in all 3 SAM locations.
This project is the biggest project that I've ever worked on. It's also the largest show that the Seattle Art Museum has ever put on in its 90-year history. To me, there are very few artists who can so comfortably occupy all 3 of our museums. I Rebel is the art and activism of Weiwei, is the first United States retrospective in 10 years of Weiwei. He's a global contemporary artist, a conceptual artist.
As the artist says, everything is art, everything is politics. He inserts humor and provocative imagery into his works. Like this photo that's taken when he's arrested by police in China to stop him from speaking at an activist's trial.
He's using so many F words. As an immigrant, I don't deeply understand the nuance, but I have to ask, who's this exhibition is for?
Yes, that's very interesting. So I would say that this exhibition is for everybody. We need to understand why he uses profanity. And the profanity has many different types of meanings depending on the context. Sometimes is wordplay, irregular words sounding like something that you should not perhaps say around young folks. But I've seen children running around his exhibitions before.
Maybe needs some parents' education.
Well, actually, we created an all-ages guide. I want the show to be accessible to anyone.
They are showing about 130 works ranging from sculpture, installation, photography, and video.
Some of them are 2 hours long, so just one film alone can occupy your day. So if you want to experience the show over 6 hours, be my guest.
Yes.
If you want to, you only have 1 hour, I also have a way for you to do that. So just read all the green colored labels. One of my favorite works in the show, the project with stools. And these are joined with incredible technical precision. There's no glue, no nails. These are done with simply joinery, just incredibly skilled craftsmanship. This is one of his famous works, of the 12 zodiac animal heads. I challenge you to figure out what is the order that I'm presenting here, which is going to be different than the order of the zodiacs that I will present at the Olympic Sculpture Park. Think about it.
Yeah, is there a prize?
Maybe the prize should be having coffee with me, huh?
The Weiwei exhibition is happening now through September 7th.
Thank you, Gloria. And turning now to the history books in an attempt to solve a mystery.
At Castle Air Force Base, California, the B-52, America's biggest and newest jet bomber, goes into squadron service with the Strategic Air Command. A wingspan of 185 feet, length of over 150 feet, and intercontinental range.
The B-52 bomber was designed in Seattle. It went missing on a training mission off the coast of Texas in February of 1968. 8 crew members were aboard, but the aircraft has never been found. But that could change, and historian and podcast host Felix Bunnell joins me to share more. We love when you're here.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Yes. So we want to start at the beginning with this plane if we can. The B-52 bombers were key to the military and war efforts through the years, but were built actually here in Seattle, right? So
yeah, designed in Seattle,
Okay.
also built here and in Wichita, and went into service more than 70 years ago, and they're still flying today.
Really?
They've updated parts of them, but the actual airframe, the wings, those are the planes that are in some cases 70 years old. So it's a real workhorse. It was carried nuclear weapons during the Cold War when we were trying to discourage the Soviets from attacking us. It was used to drop, regular bombs in Vietnam, and it's just been part of the arsenal for all these years. So that design right here in Seattle more than 70 years ago, that's pretty amazing. That it's scheduled to be flying for another 10 or 20, 30 years maybe. So it's an incredible plane, yeah.
That really is. And let's talk about what we know happened to back in 1968.
Yeah, it was February 28th. There was 8 people on this bomber. They were doing a practice mission off of Matagorda Island, which is in Texas in the Gulf of Mexico, doing this sort of pretend bombing exercises, and something went wrong and the plane disappeared.
Gosh.
And they looked for it, and the Air Force didn't find anything. There were 8 people, 6 regular crew members, and 2 guys evaluating them on this test mission thing.
Okay.
It was front page news. They were all from the Fort Worth, Texas area, from Carswell Air Force Base. The Air Force stopped looking after 3 or 4 days. But this is one of my favorite photos we're looking at right now. These are materials from the bomber that one of the wives of the men found herself.
She did?
She was unsatisfied that the Air Force had done enough to find the plane, so she and her father rented a plane. They flew down to Corpus Christi. They went out on the beach and they found all these pieces of the B-52, an Air Force garment, an air mask from someone on the plane. And the Air Force actually confiscated all that stuff. But the only reason they have debris from the plane is because the widow, eventually, she just refused to believe that her husband was gone. And I've spoken with her, and this story is a mixture of, it's a mystery, but it's also about grief, because you have 8 families who still don't know what happened. The corpse never came home. They never got to formally grieve anyone.
Right.
And it's one of these things where the military talks about not leaving behind its fallen.
Exactly.
These people are still left behind. They're still somewhere out in the Gulf of Mexico with this giant airplane that somehow disappeared. It's a crazy story.
That is. Okay, and like you said, right now, the plane has still never been found, but there was a pilot that came along, and so where did he come into this, and what did he find?
I mentioned the plane was from Carswell Air Force Base. So about 15 years after the crash, a pilot there named Cliff Scholand was having to help close down the Air Force Base because they were moving everything. This is in the early 90s, actually. And he found a monument that was covered up by trees. It was all overgrown. There it is right there.
Oh,
they trimmed away the bushes, and this monument that had been dedicated in 1968 had been completely forgotten. Cliff filed that away in his memory, and when he retired, about 5 years ago during the pandemic, he thought, I'm going to try and figure out what happened to that B-52. So he formed this little organization. He's been searching now and raising money, because they have to raise money to do this. It's not an inexpensive search.
True.
And they're going to start later this year, if they can raise the money they need, to go to the Gulf of Mexico with this group called Project Recover, which is famous for going around the world and searching for the remains of service people in foreign areas. They haven't done much searching in the U.S., So at some point later this year, if they can raise the money, they'll be out there for several weeks trying to find this plane, which shouldn't be that hard to find. They've narrowed down the focus of the area.
That's what I was going to ask, if they've really narrowed down the search. Okay.
Yeah, because Matagorda Island was where this test mission was taking place. Gulf of Mexico is huge. There's a shelf, so the water's not that deep. It's only maybe 150 feet deep, which is not could be thousands of feet deep.
True.
So they'll be out there in the water with this research vessel looking, and they might find it on the first day. And we don't know what they'll find if the plane's not intact. It probably broke up because the widow found those pieces on the beach. But the goal is to find the plane and recover the remains of those 8 guys so they can be properly buried, properly mourned, and brought home for this B-52 that's been missing for 57 years. And the connections it's all over the country. The people on the plane were from all over the states. The bomber was designed here, built in Wichita. And so it's really an American story that needs a final chapter. And this guy, Cliff Scholand, who was a B-52 pilot himself later than these guys, remarkable what he's done to create this crew of people now conducting the search, raising the money, and hoping to kind of put a period on the end of this really tragic sentence after 57 years.
Yeah, and so the fact that you've been able to interview, the widow, like everyone, and hopefully bring, some peace of mind now with that's got to feel so good.
Yeah, it's, people share their stories with me. And 57 years ago, it's not like it's still tragic. It's a lot of time, but it's still raw in a lot of cases. And I'm just grateful that Cliff has found all these people and let me talk to them. I get to hear their stories, and then it all comes out in this podcast, Unsolved Histories, Bomber Down, which you can get anywhere you get podcasts.
Amazing.
And it's sort of a mystery, but it's also really about humanity. So it's not just for airplane nuts or for people who like true crime or something. It's a bigger story than that. It's a big American story.
It really is. Thank you so much for being here. We love when you're here. You always have the most interesting stories. And again, people can listen to Unsolved Histories, Bomber Down, wherever you get your podcasts. And when we come back, we're having an important discussion around protecting our health and busting some myths at the same time, so make sure you stay with us. Welcome back. As we've been talking about this month, we want to raise awareness around colorectal cancer. And today we're going to be busting some myths around this cancer with 2 doctors from Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, Dr. Shalini Kanganti and Dr. Gautam Mankani. Thank you so much for being here, y'all.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Yes. So, Dr. Shalini, I want to start with you first. Myth number 1, I am healthy and I have no symptoms, so this is not something I need to be concerned with.
So, many early cancers and polyps typically do not produce any symptoms. And when symptoms occur, it is usually more advanced disease. So, it is important to get screened before those symptoms occur. And screening is important in individuals greater than 45. Early detection is the key.
Yeah, and so once you've had, a screening and maybe have a polyp, how often after that should you continue to get screened?
Yeah, so once you have a polyp, the screening is usually more often than the regular screening colonoscopies that individuals get. And Gautam can say.
Yeah, so we tailor intervals for you. So it depends on how many polyps you had, how big the polyps are, what's your family history. And so we take all that information and we come up with an interval for how often you should get screening.
Amazing. Okay, myth number 2, again, coming to you. Many believe colorectal cancer is fatal. So what's the reality?
Unfortunately, colorectal cancer can be fatal. In 2030, it is expected to be the leading cancer killer in individuals less than 50.
Oh my gosh.
It is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. Last year, we've had 53,000 people die of colon cancer, and over 2/3 of these could have been prevented by appropriate screening and adequate management. So there are a lot of advances in treatment. It is important to get screened appropriately.
Yes, get screened. Okay, Dr. Gautam, a myth coming to you.
Okay.
There is nothing I can do to prevent colon cancer. Is that true, or is there something that we should be doing?
That is a myth, absolutely a myth. So
let it be known.
There's a lot we can do, okay? So you can manage your risk factors and you can screen, as Dr. Kanganti said. So what are some of those risk factors? There's things that are in your control and not in your control. What's in your control is smoking, being healthy, exercising, You can do all that to decrease your colon cancer risk. What you can't control is your race or your sex. Males, African Americans, have a lot more colon cancer than their counterparts, okay? That's one. And then the other big part is you can have screening done. There's so many screening tests out there to prevent colon cancer, and that's absolutely in your control to do.
Okay, and another myth for you, Dr. Gotham, only older people get colon cancer. Is this a myth?
That would have been true 30 years ago.
Interesting.
However, what's scary is it's now a myth. So we're seeing a lot more colon cancer in young people. We were just talking about a 25-year-old that
I was going to ask, like, how young is young? Yeah.
Yeah, so
young can be like as young as 20s, 30s. We've seen so many in their 40s. So don't wait till you have those symptoms. And if you have symptoms, it's very important to get the appropriate attention. Talk to your provider and get it treated.
Yeah, so it's shifting. And that's why we changed the screening age from 50 to 45. However, half of the young cancers that we see are in those younger than 45. So things are changing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And another myth, having a polyp means I have cancer and need surgery. What should be known about polyps?
Yeah, so think of your colon lining, which is where colon cancer forms, as a normal, healthy lining. And the time from going from normal, healthy to cancer is probably like a 5 to 10 year period. And that transformation happens over time. In that transformation, you first get a polyp growth, and that polyp can turn into cancer. So a polyp is not cancer, but it's a precancer. And that's where we intervene. So that's why we screen, because we want to find those polyps and remove them so they never have a chance of turning into a cancer.
So again, getting in early and getting a screening done is what's going to obviously help all of that. And to end with you, a myth number 6, if nobody in my family has colon cancer, then I'm in the clear. Is that true?
That is absolutely not true, because family history with colon cancer occurs only in 1 in 4 individuals that actually have colon cancer. Majority of them don't have a family history, which is 3/4 of the patients that present with colon cancer do not have any family history. And when patients do have those risk factors or have those symptoms, it is very important to get appropriate attention and to talk to your provider. There is a risk calculator. You can calculate your own risks. Talk to your provider of what appropriate screening best suits you. It is a very preventable, treatable, and a curable disease.
Wow. Thank you so much to you both for taking the time. I know you're extremely busy. We really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And to learn more about what we discussed today and to see your screening options, just visit the website that you see right there on your screen. And next, it's time for a little friendly competition. I promise nothing will be thrown. Game on. How much does that cost when New Day continues? Stay right there and guess along with me.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. This is New Day Northwest.
Welcome back. All work, no play. We can't let that happen. It's game time here on New Day, and we're playing one of my faves, Game On. How much does that cost? It's just a week away from St. Patrick's Day, so we are focusing on Irish-made or themed products. And competing against me today is historian Felix Bunnell and King 5 traffic anchor Shantae Sumter, both worthy opponents. But I will maybe win. I don't know. Producer Susie will be our host.
I like the confidence.
Where did you shop?
Okay, so all of our items are from QFC, Trader Joe's, World Market, and they're all Irish focused. So I'll show you a product. You'll have 10 seconds to write the price on your boards. Whoever's closest to the price without going over gets the point. And then the prize is this.
Ooh.
I mean, this chapeau hat.
I'm more
sorry. This is the only prize.
Well, the thing is, I'm the loser.
Yeah, the loser we decided has to dance a little Irish jig. Okay.
I don't know how to do that.
We're all winners here today.
Okay.
I'm here to win.
First product. This is quintessentially Irish. It's Kerrygold butter.
What's the rule? Can we go over?
You can't go over. 8 ounces or 2 sticks worthy of butter.
In American dollars or Irish pounds?
American, please. Okay. Tax is not included.
I have no idea.
This is the best butter. Kerrygold does come from Ireland.
It is pretty tasty. It's good with a little more salt on it. A little bit of rock salt on
It
it.
is more expensive than the other butter.
How are we doing? All right, show me. Oh, $6.49. Shantae is the winner with that. Okay, next product.
I'm going Trader Joe's prices over here or something.
The Irish like potatoes.
I don't even know if they have that at Trader Joe's.
So 3 pounds of potatoes. This is a basic russet potato. These are not organic.
Basic. Okay.
3 pounds of potatoes, russet potatoes.
Can I feel what 3 pounds feels
You are
like?
not
Oh
going to
my
feel.
gosh. Yes,
this
you
can
can.
help.
Yep. Kelly, when winners need to do things.
You're right. I'm
Okay.
going to be focused on my
Why
Irish
was he
jig
winning?
over here.
All right, what do we got?
Verifying the
What
weight.
do we
not
got?
the price.
Because you know what it
If she
feels
gets it
like.
right,
You know
Show me what you got.
Okay, well, I got to wait for I don't want Shantae to cheat.
Okay. $2.97.
What?
Kelly is the winner.
Wow.
$10.50.
You see, maybe you should have lifted it up. Just
I was buying potatoes earlier, and I thought it was pricey. I must have. What other mistakes have I made this week? Oh
I'm
no!
not sure
Felix, you're my hero.
Can I
I'm
buy
not
a
sure
vowel?
this next product comes from Ireland, but it's Irish Spring soap.
You were saying that you've got
I
this
shower
before.
outside every day and carve
you
it with
go.
my pocket knife. And
Yes.
the green and white stripes and a big bowl of Lucky Charms.
It does smell really
let's
fresh.
see.
Okay.
It is clean as a whistle.
All right.
3
I'm
bars
gonna
of
try and
Irish
redeem
Spring
myself
soap.
after that
This has
big
got to
mistake
be
the
more
last time.
expensive, right? I don't know.
3 bars.
Okay.
Okay. And the price is $4.49. None of you get a point for that.
Oh, come on
Where
now.
are you
all
doing
win
this
over.
shopping?
Nope. Okay.
Who had the lowest?
All right,
Me, I got a point for
I
that.
thought that was
this.
going to be more expensive.
This
I
is
thought so, too.
straight from Ireland. These is a can of mushy peas.
What is a
I bought them at World Market. So
Okay,
World Market
does
versus
price it up
Ireland.
a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is 1 can of mushy peas. That's
One
all
can.
that's in it are peas that have been mushed up.
Couldn't you do that
What
yourself?
do you mean, like
could.
regular peas that have
Been mushed up,
Kinda
and they
cook a
are
lot, yeah.
So baby
mushy
food. Baby food.
peas.
But one thing we do know, it probably costs a little extra for the effort.
There you go.
True.
Just 1 can of mushy peas.
Delicacy.
Baby
in the
food.
UK.
Okay.
What you got?
I didn't even write anything yet.
All right, show me what you got. $2.49, I think.
Did I finally win
Yeah.
one? Oh, I bought
Felix is the
lowball,
winner. $2.49 for that 1 can.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody has a point.
We're
This
all
is something the
winners.
3 of
I
you
don't
can
like
get behind. This is Guinness Stout.
I don't
Don't
know.
drink Guinness.
I know. I don't. I've never
This
tried
is a
that.
6-pack.
A 6-pack.
Bottles.
I feel like-
Guinness Stout, kind of the quintessential
Looking out,
Irish.
and our audience.
trying to cheat.
Kelly's trying to cheat from Derek.
Wow.
I know.
I can't believe you, Kelly. I expect
6-pack
that.
of Guinness Stout.
Not from you, Kelly.
What you got?
Good Lord, how much does this run? I don't know.
I think I'm too low.
$11.99.
Oh, I went too high.
It was because
Kelly.
I looked in the
Oh my
eyes
goodness.
of
Was there
Derek
cheating that happened there?
and I-
Okay.
No, he didn't hold up anything. That
are
was
these
fair. Give
historic
me that.
prices?
They
This is
work
excellent.
together every day. They know how to read eyes.
These are Irish potato chips called Irish brand called Keogh's, and they come from World Market as well. But they
So you know they're
actually
gonna
were
be a little
made
more
in
expensive 'cause
Dublin.
World Market.
Legit Irish potato
All
chips.
right, I gotta get this one.
Come on,
Okay.
come on.
1 pack.
I'm feeling good.
What you got? Okay, $4.49. We actually have a tie between Felix and
You will
Shantae.
get 0.5.
Yep. Okay.
Wait a minute.
That's
Not
right.
1 point.
All right.
I copied you, no,
You see what she did? Try to split the points because she's cheating.
Because I'm winning.
No,
One
No, I
petite head of cabbage.
Just not by weight, just
Not a
by
clue.
item.
Just a-
okay.
Never bought that before. Okay.
Just a petite head of cabbage.
You know, we're just gonna add my favorite number in there.
Put it in your
because-
soup. Corned beef and cabbage.
I don't.
204. Oh, we have a tie over here again.
Oh
there
my
you go. There's your
See,
full
now you have
point
a full
after that
point.
half a point.
Right on.
Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm
Okay.
panicking. I'm gonna have to do an Irish
I just want to know who
jig.
came up with this half a point rule. Nobody ever. I never heard that at the beginning.
We can give you 0 points.
This game
but
should be
zero.
called, this game should be called
Okay,
The
that's
Price is
all.
Wrong.
Fired. Shots
This
fired.
should be called
Okay.
The Price is Wrong.
This is a shamrock plant from Trader Joe's.
From Trader
It's getting a
Joe's.
little leggy, but
Okay.
Do we
all
have
the-
recipes for
giving
that at the New Day Northwest
shamrock.
website?
you cannot cook with it.
I don't know, but Trader Joe's, they pretend to do pretty
Yeah, they, yeah.
on plants and
Good
flowers.
prices. Okay. $4.99, Shantae.
Gosh, Shantae.
Wow, very
You know, they try to gang up on me, but
the next one,
I'm just gonna leave.
The next one is Irish soda bread from
I'd like
QFC.
to solve the puzzle, please. Oh.
I actually have no idea. I have no
Bankrupt.
idea what Irish soda bread is.
I don't either. I've never even.
It's heavy. It's from QFC.
Do you want to hold it again?
Oh, they showed
Is
the
that
price.
gonna help?
It's a sticker. There's no price on the sticker.
You're right. I didn't.
Did you see it? If that's it. Just don't even.
Why'd you bring that up?
I could have told you.
Just write down what you saw.
Okay.
What the heck? I'm gonna just look at yours.
No, you're not.
Irish soda bread.
Okay, one more after this, you
Okay.
guys. Come on. Come on. Well, it doesn't matter.
$5.
This is
It's the point.
This is BS.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
BS.
That's not
Last
fair.
one.
Again,
This is Jameson Irish whiskey.
Jameson.
This is made in Ireland. Ireland.
Something else I've never purchased.
Me
It's a
either,
good quality.
but- Okay,
Good
good
quality.
quality should take it up some.
I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I
Okay,
just called it
quickly.
a good
We
quality.
gotta go.
Wild guess.
Okay. What you got? $21.99, Shantae. It's closest.
That's it.
Wow, very good.
Okay, who won?
Who won? I don't know. I'm waiting for the.
Okay, Shantae won. Come on, put on your hat.
You can wear mine.
Oh, with my jig?
Who has? Oh, there we go.
Irish jig.
Right, like just like that. And now back.
Okay, anyways, thanks so much for spending time with us today. And we hope you had a great day. You can check all of our content and you can always send us an email to share your thoughts. Don't forget to enjoy your new day and we'll see you next time.
Some segments of New Day Northwest are paid for by these fine sponsors: